Joe Reeves says Jordan Riley. Y'all talked about Jordan Riley a ton last year. He didn't really do anything. Played in 10 games, had 7 tackles. Do you expect him to make a jump this year?
Yeah, I do. I really do. And he made a big jump in his first year here last year already. But yeah, he's a huge human being, and he was playing behind Damian Daniels, who had a really good year. So, but he was in there. He was spell Damian Daniels, and when he was in there, he played well. Did have a couple of moments, but yeah, I really expect him to come out on fire here in spring ball and take over a leadership role there on that defensive line.
Brandon, good to see you. Thanks for joining us live. Says first time I've ever been able to watch the show live. I normally catch it the day after while I'm working. Good to have you here, Brandon.
Absolutely.
All right. This might be a difficult one to answer. Do you think next season we'll continue to focus on the transfer portal like we did this offseason? I got to think everybody needs to focus on the transfer portal from here on out, unless the rules change. The transfer portal is college football free agency. So to me, it's shouldn't be the backbone of your roster. That's still the recruiting classes, but it's got to be free agency. It's got to be something that you're looking at to supplement and fill in those gaps and those voids and gets a few impact players.
And like we've talked about, it should slow down some with, when you lose that free year, that free one time, eligibility, not having to or sit out. So it's gonna slow down, obviously, but I think it goes as your roster changes, you've got to take advantage of the transfer portal. I mean, because obviously you're going to lose guys. It happens all the time. It's still happening. So I think that's one quick fix on how to replace what you just lost. But you're never going to go away from the high school recruiting model. And it was just a strange year that they were forced to do this just because of the scholarship numbers that they were limited to. But, once you get back into normalcy with your numbers, there's still going to be, you're going to be still looking to add 20 to 25 incoming high school freshmen each and every year. And then use the transfer portal, like I said, to kind of supplement, vital positions of need.
Husker Football Archive. Wow. That seems pretty intense, exhaustive. Football Archive.
Old.
Very nice. Old. But that's a good thing.
He's got the old
Football Archive.
The old school Herbie there. So
Good to have you here. Who's projecting as the starting running back? Well, to me, Ramir Johnson was the most impressive last year, but I don't think that they've got a dominant one guy that's going to carry it 25 times.
Yeah, it's going to be an open competition, absolutely, here when spring ball starts. And, you can't forget about Gabe Urban, who was the starter before he went down with a season-ending injury, and that's when Ramir Johnson stepped up. So, yeah, I mean, those two guys you expect to start things off with, and you got Marquise Stepp coming back as well, and you got Marquise Yant, all with experience. So those four guys are going to lead things off, and then with all these new faces in the running back room, it's going to be one of those really interesting position battles to keep your eye on during the spring and also into the fall. And I think you can. The quarterback room, obviously, I think in spring is going to be right up there with that running back room. But I think, most eyes are going to be on those two position battles starting things off, and we'll kind of see where it goes from there.
Javon Bergen says, what do you guys think about the analysts? I don't know who these guys are, but anyway, these analysts projecting Nebraska going to the Rose Bowl. I did see one projection. I think it came from a particular writer, maybe a 247 Sports, that picked Nebraska to go 9-3.
Yeah, there was. He predicted Nebraska to make the Rose Bowl, which would mean that you played Ohio State in the Big Ten title game and lost. And what you probably got a 10-2 record, 9-3, but that means that you beat Wisconsin and Iowa most likely, and I don't know, probably upset Oklahoma. So those are bold. That's a real bold prediction. Um, I'm sure Husker fans are loving seeing that, but I think with what's gone on the past few years, I think Nebraska fans have tempered those expectations that they have going into the season. They're not so unrealistic anymore, and like we've talked about a lot, making a bowl game, showing progress. That's what you want to see, but on that, you don't want to go to the CarQuest Bowl. You don't want to go to the Pinstripe Bowl. That means you had a 6-6 season or a 7-5. You want to go to Jacksonville. You want to go to Nashville. You want to go to Orlando. Those are the bowls that you're targeting to see real progress here. Making the Rose Bowl, I think, is a little far-fetched with what we've seen. But who knows? It's a funny game, and that scenario I just kind of laid out, obviously it can happen. If you go over to Ireland and take care of Northwestern, and like I said, you come home for a couple of tune-ups before you get Oklahoma here in Lincoln under a new coaching staff. But obviously Oklahoma is Oklahoma, but it's possible that you could upset Oklahoma.
Sure it is. At home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got some real momentum. Hopefully you don't, stumble there up at Ross-Ade Stadium. And obviously, you look at that Michigan game is the big one there. But it's definitely possible. It definitely is.